Hey, what's good, y'all? Fusion here, back on the video. And today we're gonna go ahead and be reacting to Malika Andrews and Stephen A. discuss the Celtics. I saw that there was a clip online about Stephen A. checking Malika Andrews, and I saw the clip, so this is no surprise. But I did want to see like the context, like surrounding that clip, as well as see exactly what was said to really get to that point. But this is more on Ime Uduka, if that's how you pronounce it. I should find the real pronunciation on this video. As well as I did another video just talking about this whole situation, like on exactly what's going on. And there turns out to be some new information coming out as well. Turns out he has been, well, it has been said that let me see if I can find it. Some of the members of the Celtics or, organization first came aware of the relationship in July. At the time, team leadership was led to believe that both parties that were in the relationship was consensual. But sources said that the woman recently accused Udoka of making unwanted comments toward her, leading to the team to launch a set of internal interviews. So we don't know exactly what was said. We don't know if this is even true. If so, then this may be a whole nother conversation. If not, then as well as going to be a whole nother conversation. But it was just announced that the woman who was also in the affair really didn't get any repercu- repercussions. And if it was because that she did report this dude, then and that would make sense. Let's go ahead and see what Stephen A. and Miss Malika Andrews got to say.
Stephen A., with all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. What became apparent to me in this press conference is that we do not have all of the information here. And it was frustrating to me that the Celtics declined to elaborate or to give more specifics about what exactly the rule breaking was that led us to this point. So that I just wanted to get that out of the way first. But to answer your
I'll
question, Molly, I think
respond, but
what
go
stood out to
ahead.
me, I think what stood out to me.
Yes, just real quick. So before we do get more on on par of like what's going on, um, what she said made sense. What he is about to say will also make sense. Spoiler alert: he has been saying that this should have been a private matter. It should have never got to the Celtics and out to the public. I believe what Miss Andrews is saying is if it was going to go public, then they should have told everything. If it's not going to go public, then they don't got to say anything. So I, from what I just heard, it almost sounds like they're saying like the same thing, but they're going about in like different ways. But let's go ahead and see if I'm right.
Is that Brad Stevens, he was upset. That's what stood out to me about what he termed rampant Twitter BS is the word that he used, that women were unfairly dragged into this within the Celtics organization. You could see that Brad Stevens was visibly upset about this. And I also found that to be gross and unnecessary, that folks were bringing in the names and the images of women that is just not a fact, that was purely speculation. And so to me, that is what stood out. But the Celtics as an organization could have done more, and short of doing more ahead of this yesterday, they could have owned that responsibility in this press conference. I understand that there were legal parameters that they had to operate within for everybody involved, and I appreciate the fact that they brought in outside counsel and did a thorough organization, and I think that that is something that was clearly necessary in this situation. But the fact that it was able to go on all day, The fact that we are sitting here debating whether somebody else should have been suspended or not, we are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
First of all, let me be very clear. I don't appreciate where you're going with that. I'm not blaming anybody but Ime Udoka. He deserves, the fact of the matter is, I've said he deserved to be fired if they were going to fire him. If you're not going to fire him, then don't fire him. My issue is all of this being publicized. The point that I'm trying to make is just like you're not mentioning. Excuse me. I listened to you. You're the one telling me to stop on my show. It ain't happening. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I've already said he deserves to be fired.
Okay, so that is where that I got to. I heard him say that. I also heard her try to cut him off after he let her speak, which is weird for Stephen A. He is someone who does cut off people. But he actually did listen and was about to respond. She didn't let him respond all the way, cut him off, and he didn't like it. And I sort of feel exactly where he's coming from also. I do think we know who Stephen A is, I feel like. And we know like the type of person he is. Some people say he coons. Some people say he's a hater, all that type of stuff. I think he is a personality. He does things to get people like to watch. He sometimes has good things to say. Sometimes I don't agree with it. Sometimes I can see where he's coming from, and sometimes I just can't. But we can all understand and say that this guy isn't a bad guy per se. Not saying he's a good guy, but I don't see him doing anything that would warrant him being a bad guy or to even push things on him that could be seen as a bad guy characteristic. I guess it is my word. So I think what Malika is trying to say and trying to put in his mouth, pause, is that he is saying that it shouldn't have been his fault. It should have been all on the woman. Which, you know, I saw the clip of what she's like referring to, and that is definitely not what he said. Um, I'm gonna link all of like the clips down below, so we can try to see exactly where she is coming from and why and why she feels that's what he is saying. Um, and I agree with what she said prior to being um nobody should have been putting out some random lady's name and picture up. That should not have been the case. But we really don't honestly think that Stephen A is trying to blame that on the woman. Let's not. So I agree with him, just checking. I totally agree with that.
Or he deserves to be there and handle it internally and privately. If you're not going to handle it privately, if you're going to publicize it in that fashion, then obviously it provokes everybody wanting to know, okay, well, who are the parties involved? When you have Amina Smith in Boston and other women pointing out the fact that there were women who were wrongly implicated in all of this, it's a disservice to them. I didn't come out with the report about a consensual relationship. I didn't come out with the report ahead of time leaking that they were going to suspend him for the year. They did that. And my point is, considering how pervasive this kind of stuff has existed in professional sports for many years, my whole point is that, excuse me, make sure that you handle it in the same fashion it has always been handled. You could have fired him, and then we could have speculated till the cows come home, but he's gone. But to keep him there, keep him employed, but in the same breath, suspend him for a year, then also that year is indefinite. That is the issue that I have. Nobody's trying to protect Ime Udoka, and certainly nobody is trying to protect, is to excoriate the women involved or anything like that. I'm talking about how things of this matter are usually handled from an HR perspective, from an organizational perspective. That is not consistent with what we have seen throughout the years. That is the only point that I was trying to make. I'm not trying to attack anybody. And if anybody deserves to be attacked, it's Ime Udoka for putting himself in this position. I've made that.
That's right. That's right. It comes down to you making a mess in the bed, then now you got to lay in that bed. But the Celtics definitely, after like the bed was messed up and he's already laying in it, they just messed up the bed even more. They made this even a bigger issue than it really had to be. This nigga was cheating. That's a shitty thing to do. He's a piece of shit for that. And there apparently are some new things coming out now where he was harassing this woman. Now, if that's true, then that's a whole nother conversation. But if it's not true, then that's another conversation as well. But this whole issue was that the Celtics put out, well, it was leaked prematurely. And now the Twitter world, Twitter universe, the NBA Twitter, everything, that is what Twitter is. It is all about speculation. If you're going to throw something out there, you better put everything out or don't put nothing at all. That was the issue. Again, I think they're both on the same side, but they're saying completely different things. And let's go ahead and finish this out.
Very clear. I'm just talking about you got owners and everybody else. They know the kind of stuff that's going on. You didn't say anything about anybody else. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about them. They didn't say anything about everybody else all the other times this stuff has happened. But now when it comes to him, it's all over the place. That is my issue. That is my only issue. Thanks for watching ESPN
And
on YouTube. For live streaming sports.
I didn't even think it was that bad how he, quote unquote, checked her. I don't even think that was that bad. She does need to apologize to this dude. I do think it was premature for her to jump the gun or to put words in his mouth. I think that that's not right. But I think that they're both on the same side. I just think that they're saying it to where that they just don't understand that they're on the same side. But tell me what you guys think, man. This whole little situation is extra. It's dumb. I don't think it should have been put out, or if it was going to be put out, it should have been by Udoka or the woman in question or Nia Long. Those three are the only three people that should be involved in this. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.